welcome to today's session from ACCA in the Middle East, which will be on becoming a strategic business leader with ACCA. My name is Tahir Kapasi, and I'm the Regional Education Manager for ACCA in the Middle East. And I will be talking to you about how you can actually become a strategic business leader by pursuing a qualification like the ACCA. Now, when we speak of becoming a strategic business leader, I know these are quite heavy words, and strategic business leader, really understanding. But what I'm going to do, hopefully, in today's session is really break this down into tiny concepts for you, so that you are better able to understand how becoming a qualified chartered accountant with ACCA, a professional qualifications body from the UK, will really pave that way for you. Really build and open the doors of opportunities for you that will really help you become a successful strategic business leader in the future. But before we go any ahead with that, or we conclude with how you can do that, let's really look into what becoming a chartered accountant is like, and what encompasses within the accounting and finance spheres. So what are chartered qualified accountants? They are basically, so I'm a qualified chartered accountant, and I like to sort of always take pride in the fact that I have done the ACCA qualification. I have gone through the entire journey of becoming of being a student, to then finishing my exams off, being an affiliate, and then once I've got all my relevant work experience done, really sort of moving and transitioning into becoming a qualified ACCA member, where I've been successfully able to sort of use the abbreviations or the letters ACCA after my name. So we are all leaders in our own selves. ACC accountants, as ACC accountants or as qualified chartered accountants, we really understand what it takes to be a part of a team, as well as what and how our contribution to organizations really help them lead to successful business making decisions, and help them grow and understand how things work. If you look at accountancy also, if you take a step back and try and understand what accountancy is, and if I am allowed to sort of give you a sort of reference, and if we compare to the terminology, or the likes of a human body, I would say, for an organization, it would be a human body, physical human body. And for an organization, accounting and finance is like the heart or the brain of the body, which are actually quite two vital sort of organs. And these are the organs that really control the entire body. Our mind, our heart, sort of controls everything that we do. Finance, which is literally the money, the cash flow, the liquidity, the assets, are like the bloodstream of any organization, and they help the organization sustain, they help the organization really move, and be in sort of motion, keeping the wheels going. So chartered qualified accountants are a huge asset to accounting and finance teams within organizations. They're really essential partners that help businesses achieve their goals, their KPIs. Also, huge communicators. The role of chartered accountants have really evolved over the number of years, and I will be talking to you about how the roles have evolved, and what are the businesses looking for this day and age from accountants, and what are the expectations from qualified chartered accountants. We're also very sustainable. So accountants, being a chartered accountant, is always something that is a blessing, I believe. And I personally, having been one, I feel I've always been in demand. Whether it is a recession or it is a boom, chartered accountants are qualified accountants are people who organizations continuously strive to seek out, because they want the best for their organizations, whether they're going through a peak or they're going through a trough. They need to really understand how organizations are performing, what are the finances doing, like what should be the really important critical decisions that organizations really need to take when delivering, or when thinking about their objectives. And that's when us as chartered accountants really come to handy. Sustainability is a huge piece of discussion these days, especially when we're seeing everything that is going on around ourselves. COVID-19, the pandemics, the economic downturns, etc. Important decisions are being impacted, right from starting from schools, going into schools, challenges around, whether exams are going to happen, to universities, to bodies. Even organizations are really thinking about how they can become increasingly competitive, increasingly sustainable. Being able to survive this sort of phase is right now the biggest topic in everybody's minds, and that's where accountants, as qualified accountants, we come into hand. We play a huge role in letting organizations really understand, how can they survive, how can they sustain themselves, how can certain policies, certain decisions change, etc. We're also, very sort of affluent. We speak the global language of business. And when I say the global language of business, qualified chartered accountants are people who really understand the basics, the dynamics, and they understand how transactions happen, and especially with the convergence of increasing number of countries now adopting to IFRS, the standards, and convergence project going on, it is becoming more and more a global language of that sort. So increasing number of organizations are now relying on international financial reporting standards. They are also preferring to produce their financial statements in IFRSs. A huge sort of advantage of becoming a qualified ACCA is again that the qualification is based on IFRSs, and you can actually learn and master the IFRSs by becoming a qualified chartered accountant. So you speak the global language of business, and that's what we mean when we say, we as qualified chartered accountants also speak the global language of business. We speak the lingo, the terminology that is very understandable by relevant stakeholders, and communication is really the key now. So accountants are not just seen as people who do a bit of number crunching, and I'll talk to you all about numbers in a few, literally a few seconds now. But accountants have evolved over the number of years, and now they're becoming more and more dynamic. They're becoming more inclusive. They're participating even more in the wider dialogue of an organization, right from making important strategic decisions to how things should work, how should the order of a business be, etc. And we're definitely, these things have led us to become more than just numbers. So like I said, the perception about qualified chartered accountants and finance professionals is now at a fast pace changing, and organizations and individuals are now looking at accountants as qualified chartered accountants as somebody who are their go-to people basically for any sort of advice, any sort of guidance. These are the people, we are the people who give organizations strategic directions. We tell them, well, this is the right way to do, this is in the right way to do a certain project, this is the number of human resource that it is going to require, that's the amount of budget you should be assigning to it, these are the number of sort of expected sales volume forecasting, and also letting stakeholders really understand how these dynamics are on a financial statement shifting. Investors have become more and more interested in how businesses are performing these days. Corporate social responsibility is becoming a huge part of businesses, and qualified accountants are playing a huge role even in that end now. So it's a mix of all of these. So qualified chartered accountants are leaders, that helps organization be more sustainable, be more economical, be greener. We understand the lingo of businesses, and we are definitely more than just numbers now. Let's talk about ACCA, and let's understand what ACCA is. So we are the world's most forward thinking accountancy body, and with the vision of really helping shape the accountancy profession. We are proud of being a pioneer within this sphere, and some of the qualification changes that we bring around, the constant laser focus on ensuring that our members and our students, affiliates, and our future, who are actually our future members, are as relevant as possible, and can be seen as well-rounded individuals by employers, and they are sought after by employers across the globe. We believe that accountancy is really vital for economies to grow and prosper, and which is why we work with several institutions. We partner, we build professional connections, we build strategic partnerships, and we not just make sure that we build a qualification that is absolutely robust for our students, but we also ensure that we are paving that pipeline, or we are sort of also creating that route where we're seen as a pioneer in shaping the accountancy profession. So these things are very, very important. You are consistently supported throughout the journey, whether you start off with us just as being a student, or you become an affiliate, or whilst you are or when you've reached your goal of becoming an ACCA member. it's a journey that we get onto with you, and then we stay with you, supporting you throughout the entire journey, as long as you are an ACCA member. And even after you've retired, there are several benefits of becoming a qualified ACCA member that you can actually sort of make use of. In terms of numbers, these are just some numbers to help you understand the reach, and also the sort of the presence of the qualification and the body. So it is a professional qualifications body, based in the UK, over 100 years old. So formally formed in 1904. Now, what do these numbers on the screen here tell you? This speaks of the reach of the qualification. So 223,000 members. Now, what does that mean? That means that we are by far the biggest chartered accountancy qualification body across the globe, with a large number of members. What does that mean? 527,000 students. Now, can you imagine going to any part of the world and, coming across people, and just even telling them, yes, well, I am studying, to become an ACCA member, or I am an existing ACCA member. 220 with 220,000, 23,000 members and 527,000 odd students spread across the globe. There is hardly going to be any place where you'll find somebody come across you and say, well, interesting, ACCA. At least in the accountancy and finance profession, within the sphere of the accountancy and finance profession, people will be like, oh wow, yes, that's quite interesting, so you are an ACCA member. Above all of that, the qualification is recognized and accepted across 180 countries in the world. We said we constantly support with you, and we stay with you within that journey by our 101 local offices globally, and there are available in 57 countries around the world. We also support our students, with 340 odd quality tuition providers that are now based across different countries in the world. So it's when you decide to join ACCA or be a part of ACCA, you are actually becoming a part of a huge network, a network which is known, a network which is accepted everywhere, a network which is respected and recognized globally. So imagine being a part of a network that is as big as the ACCA, with that many members, that many number of active students that are actively pursuing the kind of community that you're looking at becoming a part of. It's immense. With the ACCA qualification, you also get the opportunity to sort of, pocket a lot of additional qualifications along your journey of becoming a qualified chartered accountant. So, and largely, a lot of this has been contributed to by our strategic partnerships that we've had, developed over the number of years. And I'll talk you through some of these right now. So, with the way the qualification is structured, you not only are on the journey of becoming a qualified chartered accountant, but you're on your way, you're also picking up some quick wins, and some really, sort of supporting useful credentials that will at each stage help you, reach a certain milestone, and really help advance your career in more than one imaginable way. So we look at the structure of the qualification in the later slides, but what I'm trying to say here is, if you look at this existing slide, you'll see at the suite of qualifications that you can expect to receive on your journey to becoming a qualified chartered accountant. And again, starting from receiving a diploma in accounting and business, which you obviously get after you've successfully passed the first three ACCA exams. Moving on, you get a diploma in advanced diploma in accounting and business, which again is available to you or is received after you've successfully sat and passed the next six ACCA exams. When you've completed the first nine ACCA exams, there's also an option there for you to pursue a bachelor's degree from Oxford Brookes University. The bachelor's is a BSc in applied accounting, and it is being given by the Oxford Brookes University. Now, I have never gone to a university. I, after my high school in India, basically flight to the UK, decided to pursue ACCA, started studying ACCA at the age of 18, and by the time I was 21, I had my Oxford Brookes University degree with me, which was actually less time. I did have a little bit of a career break in between, but if I would have carried on and I wouldn't have taken that year's break, I would have literally received this Oxford Brookes degree within a year and a half or 2 years of started my qualification journey with ACCA. And this is only available through our strategic alliance with Oxford Brookes University, where they recognize the ACCA qualification and they recognize the syllabus and the rigor of our exams, and they make sure that they are weighing that equal to their bachelor's in applied accounting, and based on which all I had to do, or all any student would have to do if they wanted to get this degree, which is pretty much the same as any other degree, any other bachelor's. I've got this bachelor's, and based on this bachelor's, I've worked in the UK, I've worked in India, I've worked in the Middle East, I'm working in the UAE for the last 7 years, and I've had absolutely no problems at all. The only additional thing that you need to do, there are no additional exams for you to sit if you wanted this bachelor's. The only additional thing is you do a research and analysis project out of one of the 20 sort of prescribed, or 19 I think now. When I did them, it used to be 20. I think there's about 19 topics that the Oxford Brookes University recommends now. You pick that up, you take guidance from an Oxford Brookes mentor, registered mentor, and then you submit your research and analysis project. You pass that based on the average marks that you've received on your first 9 ACCA exams, and on your performance of whatever the score that you receive on your research and analysis project. You're given a grade, you're given a degree based on that. You then move on to the strategic professional level exams, which obviously I will be discussing in greater detail in the next upcoming slides with you. You complete your strategic professional level exams and you get your ACCA professional qualification certificate. There you also have another opportunity of getting a master's qualification done, and that is also through our strategic alliance or our partnership with University of London. Now this is again uniquely only available to existing ACCA students, affiliates, and members. And with this strategic partnership, getting an MSc from a reputed university such as University of London becomes really easy. It's a 6 months up to a year's worth of case, and you're on your way to getting becoming a qualified chartered accountant. Plus you also get a globally recognized master's qualification from University of London. So just really looking at the suite of qualifications and the value for money element here, you're putting yourself on a smarter track, on a smarter choice, and that's where really your journey of becoming a strategic business leader starts. These all start with making these useful, smart, strategic decisions about yourself in line. You've got to start differentiating, you've got to start challenging the norm. Is it really normal going to a university after you finish school? Yes, no. Are there any other options available? Can I look at other options that can put me on a fast track, basically, where I can skip through the queue of doing or pursuing a 3 year or a 4 year bachelor's program, and then really start thinking about, because we don't ever stop at just doing a bachelor's or just doing a BSc or a degree. We all recognize that it's this day and age is all about progressing and going forward, and we all want to go above and beyond. And what do we do in our attempt of going above and beyond? We start looking for options. That's when you start looking and realizing, well, I should have done a professional qualification, I should have done a master's. But here's really the opportunity for you. This is the opportunity. This is where you can really, as somebody who's aspiring to have a career in accounting and finance, start thinking about differentiating yourself and standing out from the crowd, really. Let's look at the ACCA qualification and how the entire journey really shapes you into becoming a strategic business leader. So ACCA, like you'll read the tagline here, is truly your global passport. With the qualification, doors of opportunities open up with you, especially with the recognition. A lot of time I get these questions asked where, so what is difference between ACCA and our national chartered qualification bodies? My only response is, when you are making this decision, you've got to think about three things: the recognition and the reach. So if you look at our pass rates, a lot of people ask me, why are the pass rates so good? I come from India, and people say in India it's so difficult to become a qualified CA. But then my response is, yes, you need to understand how many countries does that qualification is recognized in. How many countries can you get a job with a local chartered accountancy qualification, and how easy is it to clear the local chartered accountancy qualification? End of the day, whether you are an ACCA, whether you're a CPA, whether you're a a local chartered accountant, or whatever you are, you all are same. You all will be able to sign off financial statements. You all will have the same amount of recognition, the same amount of respect. Employers will look forward to hiring you. You've just got to think about which of these qualifications is broadly accepted, is going to present you with more opportunities. And we don't have those reservations, because as ACCA, we know we will be accepted and recognized across the globe. There are going to be opportunities for our members, affiliates, and students in any part of the world they go. So we don't believe in restricting the number of members that we have, because we know they've got the entire globe, the entire world to sort of go and look for their right opportunity. Now, the entire qualification comprises of three main components, and the very first component is your exams component. So I'm going to be spending some time now talking to you about the ACCA exam component, and really that's where your ACCA journey begins. We've got a total of 13 exams. I know on the screen you might have, some people might have really done the counting and say, well, this doesn't look like 13 exams. There are definitely more than 13 exams here, but I'll tell you why. So in order to become a fully qualified ACCA member, you've got to pass 13 exams. Obviously there are exemptions available. We do recognize any prior qualification or education that you might have done, and we give you the corresponding credit for it. So you, as students, depending on where you're joining us from, so if you're a school leaver, you would very naturally join us from the start, which is the gray box here, the applied knowledge, where we've got three exams, and on completion of these three exams you get your diploma in accounting and business. If you're somebody who are at a university and has already pursued a degree in accounting and finance, then you can look to get exemptions. The maximum number of exemptions anybody can get on our exams element is 9, which means the first 9 exams can be exempted, i.e., the exams in the gray box on the screen, as well as the exams on your orangish yellow box on the screen. So they are the first 9 exams of the ACCA qualification, and they are the maximum number of exams that are available for exemptions, depending on what your previous qualifications are. But if you look at the examinations, really, the first 9 exams really set that foundation for your strategic professional level exams, really gives you that knowledge, that overhauling experience that a qualified chartered accountant should know. So you get insights into law, you get insights into cost and managerial accounting, taxation, financial accounting, audit and assurance, financial management, and how the dynamics of all of these work. That insight is so invaluable. That is what is going to really lay the foundation for you to become a successful business leader. When you are hired in organizations, having that knowledge, that underpinning basic requirement, that knowledge will differentiate you from everybody else, and that will also help you with your strategic professional level exams in ensuring you successfully pass them. So the first 9 exams are split in two different modules, which is your applied knowledge and applied skills. 3 exams on applied knowledge, that gives you the diploma in accounting and business. 6 exams under your applied skills, on passing which you get your advanced diploma in accounting and business. And then you obviously naturally move on to strategic professional level exams. Now, these are the exams that are the essential, very, very important. There are no exemptions on these exams for anyone whatsoever. It doesn't matter whichever qualification you've done, whether you've done another chartered accountancy qualification or whether you've done a PhD, you get no exemptions on the strategic professional level exams. On the strategic professional level exams, you've got 4 exams to sit, and we'll talk a bit more about strategic professional level exams in the upcoming slides, so you'll have more information about it. Right. So what happens with the strategic professional level exams? And that's where we really start polishing you. So we've done the grinding, the shaping, and everything. You would when you begin the journey, all of that would happen when you do the entire exam journey with us, going through your applied knowledge exams, then going through your applied skills exams, and then really slowly moving into your strategic professional exams. And if I'm allowed to use the analogy of a diamond, that's how basically diamonds are. I don't know if anybody of you have seen what a raw diamond is like, but if you actually ever came across a raw diamond, and if you never realized what it looked like when it is raw, you would probably chuck it out of your window thinking it's just a pebble. But a diamond becomes a diamond after, it goes through the grinding, the cutting, the polishing, the gritting. And polishing is when it's in the last stages, when it gets its shine, when it gets its brilliance, when it gets its, that distinguishing factor. And that's what our strategic professional exams really do for you. They really polish you so that you can outshine everybody else. When you are looking for opportunities out there, our strategic professional exams are designed in a way where they give you that leading edge, that depth, that broadened relevant technical expertise alongside with the ethics and professional skills. It puts you in a different sphere. It puts you in ahead of the line, ahead of the queue, no matter wherever you are, and what part of your career journeys you are in. So within the strategic professional level exams, you are looking at doing about four exams. And the exams give you a leading edge. They teach you and equip you with a lot of dynamic skills, which helps you understand things like reflection, things like application of knowledge. So you would have gathered a lot of knowledge within your applied skills exams. And really, how can you demonstrate that knowledge? How can you demonstrate to the employers, to the world, that you really are a truly deserving qualified chartered accountant? And we examine that via our strategic professional level exams. We see how good you've become at, we don't try and examine students on how much knowledge they have, but really examinations on the strategic professional level are about demonstrating how you can apply that knowledge that you've learned into the practical scenario, within the real world. And that's how the exams are built. That's how your exams will test you via case studies, short structured cases, giving you information and then asking you to assume a certain role and then respond based on that certain role, that assumption. What opportunities can these exams lead you to? So becoming a qualified chartered accountant opens up, unlocks a number of opportunities for you. There is a lot of career opportunities. So you can look at starting from, and again, it's not necessarily, you don't necessarily have to wait till you come up to your strategic professional level exams. You can start working right from the word go, or right from the time you've started entering into the ACCA qualification. You might already be working right now in a relevant role, and you might think, well, how can I give myself the leading edge? Again, this is a perfect place to start with. You can start off, if you're a starter, you can start off with positions like accounts assistant or an accountant, or an auditor, or anything of that sort. And then gradually move from your basic to your entry level management positions, to mid management, senior management positions, and eventually leading to very, very senior positions within the firms or the industries, like the financial manager, the CFOs, which is the chief financial officers or financial controllers, or even at some point becoming a partner for one of the professional firms. So there are many opportunities available out there for you, and there's a guided route or path that you can take towards your end goal. We all like to become successful. We all are ambitious. Everybody in this world would want to get up to a certain position, get up to a certain ladder, have that deserved respect, that deserved recognition. And this is your way through it. What will your strategic professional level exams involve? Four exams. The first two are compulsory, which is your essentials. We call them the essentials on strategic professional level exams. They are called your strategic business leader. Extremely innovative exam. One exam that really tests your capability of working in a real life practical work environment. It's a 4 hour case study based exam where you have a full blown case study on a particular industry or a sector, and then you're asked to assume a role, whether it can be an auditor, or it could be an accounts manager, or it could be a finance manager, or it could be anything. And then based on that role, you're given a certain scenarios, you're given requirements, and then you've got to answer, you've got to answer that exam or the requirements based on what is expected out of you. Strategic business reporting being the next one of the essential exams, is again a very crucial exam, which is all about your IFRSs, group accounts, consolidation, how organizations work. We hear about one organization merging with another these days, or one organization being a parent, and then underneath that parent, there are other different subsidiaries, and all of that, and how the accounting and standards and reporting and all of that work for these organizations. The strategic business reporting really covers all of that, the ethical implications and all of that. Coming forward or moving on, within the strategic professional, you also have the options exam, and that's where you've got four exams available to you. And as a student, you will only have to pick any two out of the four exams. The available options are the advanced financial management, advanced performance management, advanced taxation, or advanced audit and assurance. Again, by the time you reach to your options exam, you should have ideally had a fair enough, you should have ideally been able to make a decision based on experiences and work experience around, what is the right qualification for you, what is the right career path for you, sorry, and where do you want to really go ahead. And based on that, you make your choices on your exams, and you decide to do, two of the four available exams. How long does it take? Well, usually depending on the entry route that you come into, your exams component can be something that can be finished off in as little as 2 years or 2.5 years time. That is also, again, if you've got the full 13 exams to do. Like I said, some students come in via the exemptions route, so they would have gotten anything between 1 to 9 exemptions, and then depending on how many exams they are left, their journey can be. But anyone with relevant experience and finishing off exams quickly, an average time would be about 3 to 4 years for anyone. The faster anybody can finish off the requirements, the three main components, would be about as little as 3 years. But practically, people or students who tend to join in ACCA after their schools generally tend to take about 3 to 4 years to complete the full qualification and become a member, which is the 13 exam journey, the ethics and professional skills module, and the relevant work experience. And all of this, believe me, is a significant achievement. When as a qualified accountant, looked back at some of my friends who were in school with me at the same time, and I got my graduation even before they would have completed their second year at university. That was a moment for me that made me feel, wow, I made the right choice. I made the right decision. When you finished, when you finished and qualified after 3 years or 4 years, and you look back at where some of the people that you are sort of with at some point are, and when you see that they are just about to graduate now with out of the universities that they've really decided to go to, you'll see the difference really where you are. You would have already had that kind of work experience under your belt. You would have already had the qualifications, the academic and the professional qualifications that you need under your belt, and you'll probably be working somewhere in a role, probably in a firm as a starter associate or a senior associate, etc., somewhere. So it's all about thinking ahead. It's all about strategy, and strategy starts with planning your life and your personal strategy. It's when you get your personal strategy right, that's when you can start advising people and organizations on their strategic decisions and their sort of strategy. So, what will strategic professional give you? So, not just the strategic professional, but what will the entire ACCA qualification give you? It will give you a great start to your career because of the recognition, because of the respect. It'll give you a lot of enhanced employment opportunity. We are also on the journey with you, supporting you throughout your journey with ensuring you get your continuous, sort of CPD, your development points, as well as keeping you more and more relevant and consulted community and communicated throughout the journey. You get a suite of qualifications that are well renowned through our partnership, so i.e. the bachelor's via Oxford Brookes University, as well as the master's via the University of London partnership. So that's a win-win deal for anyone. This is as simple as it can get. Again, just the reiteration of the essentials and the options on the strategic professional level exams. I've spoken to you about these in detail. We are here to support you with your study decisions and your choices. There are a number of study support resources that we make available for our students on the website. They are all there for you. They're quite intuitive, they're very sort of engaging, and we always encourage our students to sort of go through those study support resources. That gives them a higher chance at performing better and passing their exams. So do be sure to use these study support resources anytime you decide to become a part of the ACCA community as a student. We also very highly recommend that if you are joining us as a student, and if you are sort of embarking on that journey, you do that with experienced people. You get them to handhold you, you get them to support you, and the best people to guide you through passing your exams are our approved learning partners, because they come with that recognition, they come with that quality, and they come with the high quality student support, tuition, etc. So we do recommend that you study only and only with an approved learning partner. Whatever your preference is, whether you would prefer to go into a classroom and have a face-to-face engagement and interaction, or you are somebody that would prefer more flexibility and would probably want to, attend classes online at the comfort of your own home, or any location that you are in. But it is important for you to be able to study with an approved learning partner, because they are, the experts. They ensure that students are able to pass their exams within the very first attempts, and above all, we continuously monitor them for their quality, their level of pass rates, their engagement, the support that they provide to our students invariably. Moving on, I said there are the three important components of the ACCA qualification. We were talking about exams, and I have looked into the exams in detail with you. I also told you about our strategic professional level exams, which will then help you become or give you that edge towards becoming a qualified or a strategic business leader. Exams are one of the important part of the an essential part of the ACCA qualification. Let's talk about eligibility. Very easy, no fusses, no frills. You all you need in order to join the ACCA qualification is three GCSEs, two A levels or equivalent in school. That includes mathematics and English. Even if you don't meet the minimum eligibility criteria, or this is also equivalent to your 10th or 12th grade in India or Pakistan or any South Asian school. So anybody who's done their 11th, 12th, or even done their 10th standard in a South Asian school can actually qualify to join ACCA. They are eligible. So we believe in giving equal opportunity to anybody of pursuing a professional qualification. So no frills or no fusses around the eligibility criteria. Very simple, straightforward. The second important component about the ACCA qualification is your ethics and professional skills module. Now, why is ethics important? Ethics is at the heart of the qualification. It is at the center of the qualification. A lot of time people say, well, why so much emphasis on ethics? But imagine tomorrow, if you become a qualified chartered accountant, you are going to be in positions where you have information, or you have access to confidential data or assets or securities or a lot of things. What do you think is going to be one sort of criteria, or one sort of value fundamental in an employee that organizations will be looking at? It's going to be your ethics, it's going to be your morale, it's going to be your stance around understanding, differentiating, and doing the right thing always. And as the professional qualification body, I think it is our responsibility to ensure that we are equipping our students, our members, and our affiliates with the highest ethical standards, with really equipping them with the ability or capability of identifying the right from the wrong, and making the right decisions, and eventually doing the right thing. Now, this is not an exam. It's a interactive online module which consists of 9 learning units and one assessment. If you look at the learning units, there are going to be things like communication skills, business acumen, data analytics, commercial acumen. A lot of different things are covered within this module, which is why it is called ethics and professional skills module, because everything that you will need on the side of your technicality, and really sharpen your technical skills, will be covered within the exam element. But again, apart from just your exams, it is equally important for us to ensure that you are becoming well-rounded professionals that are highly employable. And being highly employable doesn't just mean becoming strong at technicality. Why do you think there is a process of interviews that exists? Why do you think organizations really want to interview people? If they just wanted to hire people based on their qualifications or their technical skills, it was just enough for you to put ACCA on your CV, and the organization or your potential employer would verify that with us and hire you on the basis of that. The entire purpose of having an interview in place, or having some people sit and judge you, is to ensure that you've got these other skills apart from the technical skills. So when you go into an interview, when you walk into an interview, it's really not your technical skills that people are judging and looking at. It is everything apart from your technical skills, which is your professional skills, your code of conduct, how you are, what your values are. Values are a very important thing this day and age for employers now. Technical skills is something that can be overlooked, but if you are not fitting into that framework of values with them, then you've got a very less chance of being employed. Some of the other skills can be adopted, can be sharpened, can be polished, but these are some things that are really differentiators, and that's what we try and do when we sort of design the qualification for you, to make sure that you know we are giving you that ammunition that is needed to for you to get out there. You are equipped with a degree that has already got the amount of respect and recognition in the market, and then you've just got to go in and start proving yourself. So ethics and professional skills module is something that will really help you build on that and develop that. Again, the recommendation is you complete your ethics and professional skills module before you even start studying for your strategic professional level exams, because there is a bit of an overlap, and there is a dedicated module within your EPSM that helps you pass your strategic professional exams a lot faster and better. Now, the third component of becoming an ACCA member, remember I said there are three main components. We spoke about the exams, we spoke about the ethics and professional skills module, and the third important component is your experience. We called it as the practical experience requirement, PER in short. Now, like any other professional qualification, what differentiates professional qualifications from academic qualifications is the practical experience part here. Any employer that is hiring a qualified chartered accountant knows that this person has gone through the rigor, gone through the grit of working a certain amount of hours or certain time within a relevant role, and already has significant work experience under their belt. With the ACCA qualification, you need 36 months of relevant, of experience in a relevant role. And when I say relevant, it needs to be in an accounting and finance role. It cannot be as working as a marketing intern, or a social media person, or any other administrative roles. It needs to be within the accounting and finance sort of fields. And if you've got that, you can get those qualified. This is retrospective, so you don't necessarily, your clock doesn't start ticking from the time you join us as ACCA. If you have relevant experience even before you decided to become an ACCA student, that can also be counted. You get any relevant work experience, whether it is full time, part time, summer internship, a job, or anything. You can get that experience counted as well. But 36 months are something that you will need to cover in order to complete your entire journey and become a qualified ACCA member, which is becoming a qualified chartered accountant. This is really quickly to give you a snapshot of some of the organizations within the Middle East that are approved employers, as well as they prefer hiring ACCA members, within their accounting and finance teams. You will see a lot of familiar names here. Obviously, the big fours are appearing, the top firms are also appearing. These are big names in the industry, that are on this slide. There are a lot more employers than just these, but it was difficult for us. If I just wanted to put the employers up here, I would have probably ended up having 10, 20 slides with logos of different employers that are, ACC approved employers. But just to grab your attention, these are a handful of employers that, advocate the qualification and really prefer hiring, students, or ACCA members, affiliates, etc. We support you also via the ACCA Careers. So there's a dedicated ACCA Careers platform available for ACCA students, affiliates, and members to search, sort of sector specific, country specific, location specific jobs. This is by far the biggest accountancy career portal in the world, and we take this forward to, really help be there. You don't just find jobs on the ACCA Careers, you also find advice on CV, interview skills. There's a whole host of things. So when you decide to join us and you become a part of the ACC community, we support, the level of support that we extend is, humongous. So do make sure you benefit from all of these How do you register? Very simple. You log on to www.accaglobal.com. You go through the details. There is a button on the top or the side somewhere that says apply now. You click on it. It's a very simple four-step process. How it works is once you've registered to become an ACCA student, you get access, and your registration is completed. You get access to your own My ACCA portal. You start, sort of administering your account via your own My ACCA account. So whether it is booking exam, paying fees, paying your annual subscriptions, doing your ethics and professional skills module, all of that can be managed by yourself via your My ACCA account. The next step for you then will be to start looking for a learning provider, an approved ACCA learning provider, to help and support you with your exam preparations, and you start taking admissions with them, start preparing for your relevant exams, and you sit and pass them. You do the entire journey, and you're on your way to becoming a qualified accountant, as well as becoming a strategic business leader that is a huge asset to organizations. So in summary, we've seen the three main components: exams, ethics, and experience. And remember, chartered accountants now are more than just numbers. It's all about, communication. It's all about getting everybody in the loop. It's all about being consulted. It's all about informing the relevant stakeholders of the organizations and having that kind of wider dialogue, giving organizations that kind of strategic direction, whether it is with taxation, whether it is with audit, whether it is with consultancy, advisory, opinions, assurance, all of it. Professionally qualified accountants are no more just number crunchers. They are real strategic business leaders. Right. Having gone through the entire session, I would like to now open up and see if there are any questions. Please feel free to send in your questions within the comments section, and I will do my best to sort of answer them within the next 4 or 5 minutes that we have remaining of this session. So start sending in your comments, and I will be happy to answer them for you. Right. I'm just trying to look at the box here. Are there any comments coming in? If not, then I hope I've been able to explain this to you really well, and I hope I've been able to answer all, any sort of underlying questions around ACCA that you have. If you wanted to get in touch with us, any beyond, further to this session, here are our contact details. You can reach out to us on any of the, via our email, or by calling us on the phone, or following us on social media. We are available as ACCA Middle East on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So reach out to us. Feel free to give us a shout, and we will be there to help support you and guide you through your career decisions. So thank you, everyone, for joining us on today's session, and wish you all the best with your career decisions. Take care. Thank you.